Hello and welcome to the Sunday Night Booze Up here on Claret and Booze. As usual, we've got a packed show, but before we get going, a quick reminder. If you enjoy these shows, please help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Claret and Booze. Helps us out. The more subs we get, well, the more subs we get, the more we have. Anyway, I was trying to think of something succinct to say there, but it just lost me. Anyway, so let's welcome my co-host, starting with John. Welcome back, John. And quick question. Have you had to get a bigger wallet for all that cash from your black cab?
Oh, John.
Hello. Yeah, London's very busy at the minute, as I'm sure you know.
And Nick, well, he hasn't upgraded his broadband yet, so you know it can't be that good. Yeah,
that was fine before we went live, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He's starting. Yeah. How about you, Nick? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, no, it's been really, really good. Obviously, we went out and met some family yesterday. Ended up in a curry house. That was quite nice. So, yeah, not had too much. I've just been recovering today.
Yeah, that was. I did make an observation in that pub last night because it was in Waltham Cross.
It was in Tottenham land, wasn't it?
Yeah, I made an observation that pretty much every Tottenham supporter you meet in that area is a soapy-looking git with teeth missing. They haven't got all their teeth. So I just wondered whether it was a thing exclusive to Tottenham fans, you know, because it doesn't say you never meet Arsenal fans that are like that, do you? But it seems to be a common occurrence in that neck of the woods.
It was a bit of a rank pub though, wasn't it? Like in terms of where it was.
Well, I don't know. They good little, good to meet, good to see people, and it was good to have a little bit of karaoke, have a little sing. So yeah, enjoyed that.
Indeed.
Anyway, on with the show. John, are you back with us? He's still frozen.
He's still frozen. No, John.
Right. So anyway, look, let's carry on while John sorts his stuff out. We're going to go through tonight. We're going to talk about firstly Alphonse Areola. He's finally signed. We're going to talk about the cheeky, very cheeky Chelsea bid for Rice. I don't know whether it's a bid or whether it's just paper talk. I don't know. We'll ask whether we will shell out as West Ham 60 million quid for James Ward-Prowse. Somehow I doubt it. New coach Warburton. Will the new coach Warburton help us slice through defences and rise up the table, or will we crumble like an old crusty loaf? Don't know. That's got to be discussed. Nick's wet dream is the next thing. Soucek out the door. Could it be coming? Are they really? Lingard talks underway. Are they? Who knows? But anyway, if John comes back, he's gonna talk about that. And then finally, what we're going to do is a kind of fantasy football team selector where we look at all the masses of people we've been linked with, and we're going to pick who we think we're going to sign and who we think we're going to sell, and kind of look at what the West Ham squad or team is going to look like next season. I think that's more or less the idea, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's a quick thing. So 150 million to spend. We can sell some players as well. So you know I'm going to sell, just to give us a little bit of extra money.
And there's been I doubt if he'll make it onto this chart, but there has been it's just a quick mention, the latest rumour, Arnett Danjuma, Holland winger from Villarreal, and rumoured to be a 36 million euro deal. And he has a 56 million euro escape clause. So that says either we're not in negotiations for him, or they're willing to take a lower bid because they're desperate for money.
There's a lot of clubs in the hunt for him, so I think there'll be a bit of a bidding war.
Yeah,
Good player. Could have picked him up from Bournemouth, couldn't we, last year before he went out there?
Yeah, we could have done, but that would have taken foresight.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, on with the show. I don't know if John, are you there?
I don't think so.
He's on mute. I think he's.
Anyway, do you want me to run for the comments quickly?
Yeah, go on. Let's do that.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can hear you? Yeah, John.
Okay. I can hear you, John. Can you hear us? No, he's struggling with his connection.
Right.
Unbelievable, Jeff. All right. Hello, Aldi. You all right? Prowse and Lingard, no way. Keep the faith, mate. Keep the faith. Ian Carter. If it happens, I'll eat my hat. Evening, Garino.
Hi, Garino.
Trev. Black Country Hammer. Jamie Knight. Happy Hammerette. Can't stay tonight, but don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Ian Carter again. Peter Jones, one of our regulars. And there's Claire. There's Claire with her spanner.
Oh, Claire's back. Hello, Claire.
Claire's back. And we got Jay Woods, Lingard Sar, Cockchew, Hickey, and Broja would be an ideal window. Yeah, I'd go with that. And we've got Lawrence, all the way from Auburn, Alabama. Hello, Lawrence. How you doing, mate? You all right? And we've got Sean, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Brilliant.
I don't know where John's gone. He's struggling with his interweb.
Yeah. I think he's. Are you on audio now, John? Can you hear us?
He's probably kicking one of the kids off of an online game or something.
That's probably what he's doing. Yeah, someone started a game. Right, okay, look, let's get on with the agenda. The first thing we've got to talk about tonight is Areola, Alphonse Areola. So, we are actually. I was reading about him today. A lot of you probably know this already, but he spent his whole career at PSG and going out on loan from PSG. And he's gone to, various clubs, including ourselves, Real Madrid, Fulham, Lens, I think, various other places. In most clubs that he's gone to, apart from Real Madrid and West Ham, he has gone in straight as the first choice keeper and played pretty much the whole season. Right, so it says a lot for his quality. So this is quite a big move for him because it's his first ever permanent move away from PSG. So that's good. I think 10.5 million from what we saw in the Europa League last year. That's good value for a decent keeper. I mean, he made some quality saves, and he got save of the season, didn't he, for that one from what's his name, where he was going the wrong way. And Nesri, and he sort of changed direction in midair. What a great save that was! I was right behind the goal on that. And his distribution is on a different level to Fabianski. I just think, Nick, I just wonder whether this is going to be a battle for the number one shirt, or whether now that we've signed him permanently, whether he comes in straight in number one.
I think he's got to come in straight away, and that's no disrespect to Fabianski. I just think it looks look from looking at it from the outside in. If you believe the rumours, we'll get onto that later. Moyes is looking at shipping Soucek out. We've got almost like a ball playing defender now in Aguirre. I think we might be in for a bit of a treat next year, and if we are going to be playing out from the back and driving the ball forward and playing a more expansive style, I think having a goalkeeper that can use the ball the way that he can, that's going to be kind of key to that. And like I say, it's no criticism of Fabianski, but I personally, as it stands at the moment, and I think towards the end of that season, we said it ourselves, didn't we? Areola is the better keeper out of the two at the moment. Fabianski's coming towards the end now, isn't he?
No doubt in my mind, he's a better keeper. I think Fabianski. John, you're actually moving, and can we hear you?
This is good. This is good.
We was online for 25 minutes. As soon as it goes live, it kicks me off.
I know. Amazing.
I know. Crystal clear as well.
I know. Yeah. Sorry about that, but what can I do?
Right.
Obviously, the contract negotiations we had during the summer didn't include free Wi-Fi, did it? So you'll be happy to know I've signed another year deal. Don't worry.
Good.
Yeah. So, John, what do you reckon? Is Areola going to be number one or Fabianski?
Yeah, he's got to be. I think, like you said there, Areola's had a few loan spells away from PSG. He hasn't ever permanently moved from PSG, as you said. Personally, I think I think he would have probably needed assurances from Moyes that, look, I'm going to sign you. You are going to be number one, because at his age now, he needs to be playing regular. So I'm sure that was part of the negotiations. And I'm sure Fabianski is aware of that. I'm sure Fabianski is probably, he seems the type of character. He's aware. I don't imagine he'll be sitting on the bench sulking. And I read an article recently as well where Noble alluded to Areola, where he actually commended him as a number two, in so much as he said he's one of the only keepers, not one of the only keepers, but he doesn't sit there sulking. He's happy to be number two. He respects it at that point. But I think now, when he comes in, I think he's definitely got to be number one. Definitely.
That's really amazing. I've not heard that before, but that's brilliant. It takes a big character to do something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's probably helps when you're on sort of 125 grand a week, I think. So, and that's
probably
and
helps
that's
ease the pain a little bit.
But what I will say is, and I think that will play into it as well, because I'm not saying that we're going to be paying him that level of money. I don't think we will. It will still be high, but we won't be paying him that much. That's why the negotiations have taken so long.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we'll be paying that level of money for a goalkeeper and sticking him on the bench. I don't think that's going to be happening.
And you know, obviously, a lot of fans were frustrated at the length of time it took negotiations to materialise and finalise. But you know, these things do take time, because at the end of the day, these players have agents. They have only one career, whether you like it or not, and their agent's job is to get them the best deal available. And
I know.
Whether we like it or not, some clubs will pay over the odds. Some clubs will bend over backwards. West Ham don't, rightly or wrongly. And I think that I'm always quite happy that we don't just bend over and throw money at anyone for the sake of it. You know, I genuinely do. I wouldn't want to be a club giving everyone 200 grand a week, personally.
No.
You know, I think he shows a bit of backbone. But I think we knew this deal would happen. He obviously likes London, played in Fulham last year, and he'll definitely be number one. Do you think Fabianski will be our cup keeper then, or do you think they'll chop him down?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, Fabianski also had a good season. He had a shaky couple of moments, and he did cost us a couple of goals in my mind. There's no two ways about it. But largely, he was brilliant. And he has been a solid keeper. He's been a great keeper since we got him. So this is no disrespect to Fabianski, and I think he'd be perfect for a season in the conference and playing in the League Cup and the FA Cup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Areola 100% is. Look, he's going to improve our game. He is. You know, I think it's really exciting. And when you look at the money that Pope went for, because he's gone. What did he go to Newcastle for? Same money, wasn't it? 10 million.
Yeah.
And Pope is a more conventional style of keeper. He's a more Fabianski style of keeper. He's a great shot stopper, but he ain't got the other bits and pieces. And I think it's really kind of, and he won't have been paid as much money as what we're paying Areola either. There's no way he'll be the same wage. So I do think that this is quite exciting for us in what I'm hoping our new style is going to be, new expansive style.
I was watching. There was one game I was watching. I got there a little bit earlier. It was one of the European games, and you had Randolph and Fabianski and Areola all warming up, and they were basically, it was Areola and Fabianski. No, it was a Premier League game, it wasn't a European game. But anyway, what they were doing is Randolph was crossing the ball in because he was on crossing duty this year. You know, Randolph. That's all he was. And then the idea was of the drill was they would get full strength and catch the ball and then throw it out, right? Yeah. And I had to throw it out back to Randolph, and Areola hit Randolph every single time. Yeah. Fabianski, one of his throws went about 20 yards to the right.
Yeah. His distribution is awful.
Yeah,
really is.
But that's what the exercise was about. It was about quick distribution, gathering the ball and quick distribution. You know.
Yeah, I think Areola, apart from anything else as well, he's just more of an imposing figure. He's got that Peter Schmeichel type frame. You know, very broad-shouldered. You know, a lot of the modern day keepers, they sort of play like futsal keepers or that sort of sport where they come out with their legs and they just put their body very Schmeichel-esque, and I think Areola's upper body strength looks amazing. Hence the save of the season, because that took a lot of upper body strength to not only save it, but push it away. You know.
Yeah,
it was different class, and I've noticed that about him as well, which Fabianski doesn't do. He does consider the consequences when he's making a save, doesn't he? So he tries to push the ball away. He assesses who's coming in on it. But anyway, look, that's any comments on this, John?
Yeah, we've got a few comments regarding Areola. Areola should be number one. Seems to be the common consensus, which I think we all agree with. Welcome to Stelios there, West Ham voice. Areola should be number one.
Hello, Stel.
Claire's burst a bubble early on. I don't think Moyes will drop Fabs.
There is that chance.
Areola has to be number one from Indigit. Ralph says, as we said there, loves Areola's distribution. Garino's in the house. He says, if Fab was going to be number one, we would get someone in on loan, not permanently. Yeah, and I think that's 100% right. You know, you wouldn't bother buying him. It would be absolutely pointless. What's this? I was a dig at me. John, did you forget to put diesel in your motor? Yes, Stel. Sorry, if you don't know, Stel lives in Mayfair and he's probably eating something vegan about now. Jamie Knight, Jamie Knight looks like he's waiting for the season to start. When does it start? Evening to Dave. Dave's there.
Dave.
And good evening from James.
James. Right, brilliant. Cheers. So let's move on to the next topic. And this is about Chelsea supposedly putting a bid in for Rice. Now, I don't think it's actually a bid, but there is paper talk, that we have approached Chelsea for Broja. Chelsea are trying to pull a fast one by trying to strike a deal, including Broja, for Declan Rice. So, John, what do you know about this?
Well, yeah, cheeky's the word, really. I mean, obviously, we know we're linked with Broja, and we'll probably talk about it a bit more later, but it'd be a great buy for us, I think. A young striker who did well at Southampton last season. Looks a bit of a beast. Looks a bit of a handful, as we saw in the cup game when we went to Southampton away. But I believe they've offered, is it Ross Barkley and what's the other one? I forgot his name there.
It's Barkley and Broja, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Barkley
what it's
and, Barkley and Broja. I'm talking about Broja.
Yeah.
I forgot about him then. Barkley and Broja for Rice, basically swap deal, and I'm sure a bit of cash as well the other way. We know we want Broja, but Ross Barkley, I think he's become a bit of a Dele Alli type. I think he's lost his way for a while now. He probably shouldn't have. When he went from, was it Everton? He went to Chelsea. What's he done since he's been there? I know he's had a couple of loan spells. I think he was on loan at Villa. He doesn't excite you. I mean, what sort of signing would that be? And if it's actually true, I find it a bit of an insult, really. Now, you're saying to us, right? Basically, you're saying, well, we'll have Rice and you can have Barkley. He'll take Rice's place. Well, absolutely no chance. He couldn't. I'm not a professional footballer. But he ain't good enough to lace up Rice's boots at the moment. He might find his form again in the future. We don't know. But at the minute, he's not worth it.
He don't fill his position anyway. He plays in a different role. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I think if we was to sign Barkley separately, you probably could look at that as Moyes doing another sort of Lingard experiment, somebody who's lost their way and Moyes thinks he can bring them back. But you don't put someone who's basically a spare partner in a deal for one of the best central midfielders in the world. Yeah. I mean, you don't do that.
But that's exactly what I'm saying to you, Nick. If you're going to do a swap deal, then at least one of the players, in my opinion, if you're going to do a swap deal that involves a couple of players, you want a player coming in that is going to do his job or try to do the role that you're losing your better player to. So somebody like maybe Gallagher, who was on loan at Palace. Maybe that would make you think a little bit. But even then, I don't think,
But Ballon Dawson's just put that in there. Gallagher, Broja, and 70 million. Would that make you... I mean, that's... Because what would... If you was going to buy Gallagher, would you be looking at around about 40, 50 million? He's got to be worth that, based on...
After his season with
Gallagher.
Palace.
Gallagher. He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, the problem is for me is at the minute, and again, we're going to talk about James Ward-Prowse later on, I'm sure. But any English player, it's always been the case. Any English player, the price is always inflated. And, I know Conor Gallagher had a great season last year, but it is only one season. He was on loan at West Brom the year before. He did okay. I know they got relegated, but is he worth 50, 60 million? Is Conor Gallagher already worth 50, 60 million? And then we're talking about James Ward-Prowse possibly 60, 70 million, who's got 300 game experience.
Yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, that offer of Gallagher and Broja, if it was to come forward, I'd still tell Chelsea to fuck off. Yes. I don't want that, right? I want Rice this season. We know Rice is going next summer. We need him this season.
Do you know my only argument with doing a player plus cash deal?
Yeah.
And that is, at least we know as fans, we're getting some players in return. Whereas if we were to sell Declan Rice for 150 million, there's no guarantee that Moyes is going to spend that money and reinvest it.
No, true.
That's the thing. So at least, if you're going to be getting some quality players back. I mean, don't get me wrong. What's his name? Barkley. He doesn't tick that box.
No.
He's a spare part. He'd be a spare part for us as well, as far as I'm concerned. Barkley. I think that is paper talk. That is papers putting together a story, the same as they do with Man U occasionally, where they sort of say Man U have got interested in Rice, as if to say, if Man U put a bid in, we will sell Declan Rice. We don't have to sell him. He's under contract, just because, and so some lazy journalists have said, right, Rice is worth 150 million. Barkley's got to be worth at least 30. Broja's got to be worth 50 or something like that. So we do them two plus 75. There's my story. I'm going to put that one out there.
Yeah.
I think
it's
it's
a good
paper
one from
story.
Dave there, though. Look, It's a good one from
It's a
Dave.
good one from Dave. That's why I put it up there. I think that's funny. It's true because it's almost an insult. So if you want to insult us, then Rice's price goes up. That's taking liberties.
We'll be taking on the wages of a highly paid player who doesn't play for them. So
you might as well. They might as well be offering us the kit man. They might as well be saying. They should be saying you can have Broja and we'll have Rice and we'll give you the kit man and maybe the lady in the canteen as well who smokes fans behind the counter. You know?
That's what they're doing. They've opened the cupboard, they've looked in, and they've got dusty Ross Barkley at the back of the cupboard and think, we'll try and lob him across to West Ham. It's like, the Yanks having a laugh. So
where do they stand at the moment? I mean, I'm assuming they can make bids now, but as a deal gone through, has all the sanctions been removed? They can operate normally now.
Yeah, they're rich again. They're rich again. Yeah.
I dropped a couple of tourists. I dropped a couple of tourists to the club shop the other day, so they're obviously allowed to sell scarves and that, which means they can buy players. It's a good point here from Jamie. Ross Barkley reminds me of a meatball when you drop it on the carpet. Some comedians in the see, there's another funny one. Look, Rice for Ambrosia. Don't make a mean of it.
Yeah. Here, Broja apparently, or Broja, whatever his name is, right? By the way, did you hear him talk? He's a Londoner. I thought he'd be some Eastern Europe.
He started out at Tottenham.
Yeah, he's a proper Londoner.
He was born in Slough to Albanian parents.
Oh right. Oh okay.
Yeah. So he's British, he's as British as they come. So that's why I think his style is very, very physical. He's a bit like, I think he's very sort of old number 9-ish type. You know what I mean? Bit of a brute, bit of a battering ram. He's got the technical side of his game as well, but he's got a lot of old school attributes which I like. You know.
It was a bit insulting, wasn't it? Do you remember that song that the Southampton fans were singing to him about him being Albanian and he's going to murder you or something like that? It was a bit close to the edge.
I can't remember the words. Yeah, it was a bit
insulting.
Yeah.
But apparently, I heard that Tuchel wants to take a look at Broja in pre-season as well. Now, whether that's a tactic, I can't believe. Yeah,
he's not going to start up front for them. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say about Broja, which he's not the finished article yet. He's not. We saw that for Southampton last year. He's an extremely talented player, and there's been people out there sort of putting that argument out about Broja. You know, he's not there. He petered out second part of the season, but the fact is, if he'd have finished the season the way he started it, we wouldn't be in the running for him.
No,
we wouldn't be, because it'd be, you know, I think you've almost got to take a bit of a punt, haven't you? And I don't think it is much of a punt.
No, I think
30 million.
No, I think the thing is he's got age on his side, hasn't he? Right? He's in the main he's inexperienced before last season, right? So last season was the most games he's played in a season for anybody, right?
Yeah.
In the first team. So you've got to look at all these circumstances. He's got a lot to learn, but being a striker, you know, there's a lot to learn in your trade, and he's a long way from it. But like you say, for 30 million, I think it's a good deal.
I think Moyes will also like the fact that he's young and he'll feel like he can mould him as well. That's the other thing, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see us sign him. So really, go on, John.
Go on, mate. Go
on, do the comments.
Yeah, there's a few comments. Sorry, with regards to it all. Where are we? Gallagher, Broja, and 70 million would make us think 100%.
No, wouldn't make me think.
See this one from Alan. I like the sound of this one. So is it coming up? Hang on. Pulisic, Broja, and Gallagher. I do like Pulisic. I've got to say.
Now you're starting to convince me a little bit, Al. That's a little bit. That's getting a bit sexy. That is.
It is. I do like Pulisic, but I think that. We've always said that we think Rice will probably stay one more season. It'll be interesting, you know, if we get all these players that we're linked with, not all of the 57,000 players, but I mean, if we get the sort of 5 or 6 players that we're truly linked with that are starting to come to affluence now, like in terms of, we knew Areola was happening, but we've got the Moroccan centre half, his name's gone. And these other, I wonder if that could tempt Rice to stay if the team gets better and better around him. You know, depends.
I think it all depends on. I don't think he'll go this season. I think it's very clear that nobody is going to pay. When you look at the fact that Phillips has just gone for 42 million, I don't think anybody is going to pay 150 million for Rice.
Yeah, but
I don't think they are.
But I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry, mate, but I don't think Phillips is anywhere as good as Rice.
He ain't Rice ain't 3 times a player. Rice is a better player. He ain't worth three times the amount. So I don't think I can't see Chelsea sort of shelling out that sort of money. Why? Well, the thing is, and that's the other thing as well. Why would they throw players like Gallagher and almost like Broja and like Pulisic at that deal? Because these are players individually that they could probably sell for a decent profit as well. Yeah, so they may as well just pay us the money, you know.
But Chelsea throw away players left, right, and centre. Nick, Chelsea are not all about, you know. Look at the hit they've taken on Lukaku. Look at how many kids. You know, they got rid of. Don't forget they got rid of De Bruyne first time around. They got rid of. They don't give a lot of their players time, and the amount of players that Chelsea have got out on loan who have never pulled on a first team shirt but have been there 2, 3, 4 years. So Chelsea. And it might change now Abramovich is gone, but Chelsea have always stockpiled players and not really had a concern for selling on profits.
Well, that was their business model. Their business model was to accumulate players, have this enormous academy, and it's like a loan factory. I think there was one season, I can't remember the numbers, right? But I feel pretty certain I'm not too wide of the mark when I said one season they had about almost 50 players out on loan to clubs all around Europe and in our Premier League and the other leagues.
It's a great business, isn't it?
Yeah, but it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed.
But if you got a player on a 5-year deal and you can get 4 years of loans out of them at 5 million, 6 million a pop, and then you can sell them at the end of it anyway. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? But like I say, I don't think they can now, can they?
Well, I don't know, but when you look at people like Victor Moses could have had a decent career, right? He could have had a good move somewhere and been a first team player, and instead he kept bouncing back to Chelsea and being loaned off somewhere else, right? And there's been lots of players like that over the years as well. Who are happy they put the money above their sort of success or their prospects as a player, and I don't get it. As someone, you know, from someone as being a sportsman and wanting to win things, I know not everybody's the same makeup. Some people it is just about money, but I just don't get it. I don't get why you'd wash such a short career away. You know,
I think you could say that if Chelsea come in for you, someone like, as you know, maybe not now as they are, but if you go back a few years, if Chelsea came in for you, you know, they was winning things left, right, and centre, right? And they had, let's say, when they had Mourinho at the helm. When someone like that comes in for you as a player, I suppose you sort of, there's a little bit of you that thinks this chance might not come along again, right? Yeah. But also there's got to be a certain amount. There's got to be a certain amount of self-confidence. You've got to believe. I mean, did Ross Barkley believe that when he went to Chelsea, he would become one of the first 11 players on the team sheet? He must have.
Probably,
Yeah, but so it's an argument for both. There's nothing wrong with a player, a sportsman, a footballer being confident, because generally there have to be a little bit of an arrogance about them to get where they've got in life, right? There has to be a bit of self-confidence, a bit of belief. But when you know Chelsea is a bit of a cattle market, it does beg the question. I mean, I remember when Steve Sidwell went there. Remember Steve Sidwell? Ross Barkley. These players weren't ever going to become first teamers at Chelsea, in my opinion, with the players that Chelsea already had. So then it does think, is it money?
Well, it must be, but I could have told Steve Sidwell he was never getting in the team. I mean, it was just a ridiculous move. You know what I mean?
I know.
But anyway, any more comments before we move on? I mean, I just like, and then I'll finish on one message to Chelsea. Go on, John.
Yeah, you've got so Gallagher. John says Gallagher not quite up to the mark for me. Looked quite average for England. Yeah, he did, and I thought James Ward-Prowse looked a bit average for England as well, I must say, when I see him.
I don't think Rice played particularly well in that either, though.
No,
I don't think
any
of the players played very well.
I'll give Rice a freebie. Gallagher, Broja, and 90 million, and then maybe we start considering it. What are you saying, Gal? Sorry, mate.
That is more what Stell's put there. That is more close to how I would value those players. 30 plus 90, right? 150. That is closer. Yeah. That's more tempting, but still not tempting enough.
No, not this season anyway. No. The only players I'd want in exchange from Chelsea are players they wouldn't want to let go, same as don't want to let them go.
Good point.
Yeah, it is a good point, but let's be honest, Chelsea in the main do have a lot better players than we do, and I know that might be a little bit controversial, but they have a better squad than us, don't they? On paper, no. So
they do. You know,
I'm not underselling our squad, but I'm being honest. Aldi Gallagher's an exciting player. Alan says if we sell Deck, prices of replacements would skyrocket. A player deal might not be a bad
Yeah.
No, that's very true. Because if we sell someone like Deck, and then they know we're looking to replace someone like Deck, the price.
Well, I think the only way you can do it, John, is like what Villa did with Grealish, and that is when you know the deal's done, spend the money first.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your replacements in early.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do.
Rice for Elanusi and JWP would be interesting. Declan is going nowhere this summer. I agree. No chance. We will not sell any regular first-team player, in my opinion. Garino says the only players I'd want from Chelsea is some of their under-23, as let's face it, they have a great record of letting players leave. Exactly what we said. Exactly what we said a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it.
All right, brilliant. So one little message I think to Chelsea from me is fuck off, Chelsea. Don't take the piss. Right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next topic. So this is one for you, Nick, and James Ward-Prowse. Will we shell out 60 million for him? And if we do, what are we getting?
James Ward-Prowse, I mean, if you'd have asked me before I saw the odds on Sky Bet, I was kind of anti the move. He wouldn't be my choice. I'll be honest with you. He wouldn't be my choice. But you can't deny, I think I said it earlier on, at worst, what you're getting there is you're getting a brilliant central midfielder, a very competent central midfielder, technically gifted, works hard, he's box to box. At best, you're getting somebody who's going to give you another 20 goals a season from his set pieces and stuff like that. I think he does add another dynamic to us. I do think, he's not the... He hasn't got the flair of some of the other, in terms of his from open play. He hasn't got the flair of some other players, but I do think he offers an awful lot. And he is hard-working, and he's got all that Premier League experience. So 50, 60 million, I'm not being funny. If we are going to go out and we're going to sell a few players, which we're going to talk about after, then Ward-Prowse would be an upgrade on what we've currently got sitting next to Rice. I think we'll all agree that we'd have to agree on that, surely.
Yeah, I'd agree on that.
He is. But no. He's a good player, and look, let's not get away from it. You can't undersell the importance of a set piece. Look how much we love Payet for his set pieces. Right, this guy is superb, and it's not just the goals that he scores. We're going to have somebody that can. The ironic thing is, right, and we will talk about it now. If we're going to buy James Ward-Prowse and sell Soucek, you're almost losing the bit of aerial threat that James Ward-Prowse could aim at. It was almost like when we sold Haller in that January, we brought Lingard in and we changed our style to a style that would have suited Haller.
Yeah, it was ironic, wasn't it?
It's a bit weird. So I don't know, but there's no guarantees that Soucek is going to go. It's just kind of on my Christmas list. That's all.
On your hit list, not a Christmas list, it's a hit list.
Well, look, we've got a special section on Soucek coming up anyway.
Well, what are your thoughts on James Ward-Prowse? I mean, we've all seen him play. What do you think about the player?
Go on, John.
I think he is. He's an absolute professional. He's consistent. He's played over 300 games for Southampton. He's got about 40, 50 goals, something like that. God knows how many assists. He's in open play. He's not your flair player, like you say, but he's hardworking. He goes deep to get the ball. He plays a lot of balls over the top, angled balls over the top. Look, I know it might sound a bit over the top that we're going to get him, but I think he'd be a great addition to the squad or to the team. Even I think he'd be a first 11 team player, and I think we would gain a lot from that because look, if we lose any player from our midfield now, Rice or Soucek, whether it be this season or next season, you want to bring in ready-made players. We don't really have time to bring in a 21-year-old from France and say, right, he needs us. We need players to hit the ground running in that position, especially because Rice may be going next season. Soucek isn't on form. He may be going this season. We haven't got time to bed players in. And, I know we're pulling players like Connor Coventry is going to be back on loan and all that. And he's had some great games in League One or whatever it is, but he's not Premier League ready yet. And for that money, 60, maybe 70 million, it sounds a lot because he's not an exciting player really until he gets a free kick at his feet,
But he's not exciting in the, like you said, in the dynamic sense, in the dribbling sense and stuff like that. But what you alluded to there was right, because when I was doing that review the other day on Orkan Kokcu, by saying that. I looked at their stats, and it was basically some of the stats were like forward passes, and I did. James Ward-Prowse was in that list, and in terms of expected assists and stuff like that, James Ward-Prowse is right up there. So he's not somebody that passes sideways and backwards.
No,
you know, he does. He is progressive. He looks to get the ball forward.
Yes.
So no, I think he'd be a great signing. Do I think it will happen? I still don't, but you can't ignore the odds. I mean,
What were the odds? What were the odds?
No, we were worse than odds on it. At one point yesterday, if you'd have bet a tenner on Ward-Prowse and he'd have come, you'd have got £9 back.
Oh, the bookies are never wrong. So maybe there's something in it. Maybe there's something in it.
What do you make of him, Joe?
Well, I agree with everything you said so far without repeating. But the thing that really turns me on is having someone in a team who is going to make other teams fear us when we get a free kick around the edge of the box. Because honestly, I know Cresswell scored one last year, but how long since we scored the one before that directly from a free kick?
I know.
I can't remember it. We always just over the bar, you know, on target, easy save. It'd be lovely to have someone with a little bit of talent like that for a dead
It's
ball.
clearly a focus. It's clearly a focus as well, because we were linked with that, or we still are, because we want a left back. So we were linked with that David Rahm of Hoffenheim, and he is a set piece specialist as well. Now I don't think that we will get both, because you don't need two. Fair enough. David Rahm is more than that. He's a great left back, but one of his key attributes is his set pieces. So I think that might have been why, if they thought James Ward-Prowse, if we weren't going to get him over the line, maybe that's why they were looking at David Rahm and spending a bit of extra money on that fullback position.
Yeah, maybe.
I think what we also noticed last season, in the second half of the season especially, although we were threatening from set pieces, especially corners, we used to get a lot of corners, and so many corners were wasted. I remember Fornell's game after game, he had a sequence where he kept it in the front man. He kept it in the front post, and you know, there's a lot to be said for someone who can just swing in a decent corner. You should get a fine.
You should get a fine if you can't beat the first man from a corner. You should get fined.
Listen, corners. Obviously, with I think Nolan's been working on the corner tactics and everything else. I think, you know, corners and free kicks must be a strength of ours. It's what everybody was talking about West Ham at a certain part in the season, and it did kind of tail off a little bit, didn't it? Then it came back with a vengeance in Europe with the Dawson. The Dawson goal from the corner. But
it's so bizarre because we have got such an aerial threat. We've got such an aerial threat.
Exactly.
You know?
So it suits us. It suits us to get a player like Ward-Prowse. And I believe, you know, I know it's a lot of money, 60 to 70 million, but if you want to buy the finished article, well, then that's what you got to pay.
Yeah, I agree.
Just some comments about JWP, as he's now known. Yeah.
Go on.
So Scott says JWP will not leave Southampton. He's adamant to that.
No.
He says he probably won't fit in our current system either, except on set pieces. Yeah, maybe. JWP is another smokescreen, like when we were in for Phillips and Rafinha. I don't know. I think there's more. I don't know. I think JWP would be good, if I'm honest. Garino, nope, I can't see it happening. People don't seem confident it's going to happen. I think the price tag's putting a lot of people off. I really do.
Yeah.
We've got to replace Cresswell. Aldi says, unfortunately, Moyes does not trust under 23s. JWP is not my choice. Okay.
But you know about the money, right? If we paid 70 million for him and then we get 30 to 40 back on Soucek, then it don't seem like a very expensive buy, does it?
It doesn't. Looking at it another way, right? And I don't buy into this, what Aldi's saying, by the way, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. If we're spending 60 to 70 million, which is way more than what we would anticipate we would spend on a player like that, could it be because Rice is going?
Don't go there. Don't go there. You're really not.
Do you know what I mean? No. Could it be?
The only thing I'd say is the price of a player, like anything in life, someone or something is only worth what someone's willing to pay. So just because Southampton are saying 60, 70 million, that might be just to scare off the club's potential buyers because they want to put them off. Doesn't mean that will happen. It doesn't mean that he'll go for that price. But what's this one here? Claret and Spew said nothing in this Lingard link. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
leave Soucek alone.
We ain't leaving Soucek alone. We've got a special section on Soucek, Claire.
It's just Nick, Claire. Scott is adamant.
It's not just me. It's Moyes as well.
Why would Southampton sell their captain? That's a good point. And also, I know we're going to say yes, we are. But do you think he sees us as an upward step for him in his career? What do we think?
Well, James McFadden put me in my place the other day because what I said was the other day we was having a debate and I said what West Ham really need in this window to announce that we're serious and that we are the best of the rest is we need to take one of the best players from one of the other teams. And I said if we can take James Ward-Prowse for 60 million, 70 million, and I said I think that they are an established mid to top half of the table team. And then he put me right. They've finished like 15th. They finished 11th once. They're a bottom half team. They're the type of team that they get to 40 points and then that's it. They're on the beach. That's all they care about. So surely for a player like James Ward-Prowse, who is an England international now, maybe he's just had enough. Maybe he's just had, you don't know. You know?
Yeah, no, there could be all sorts of factors. Of course there is. And the thing is with him, he's 27, so he's coming into his prime. You know, he is coming into his prime. He's only 27. He's just been around forever. You know,
he's not injury prone either. That's another bonus.
Well,
yeah.
Shouldn't say that though. Shouldn't say that.
All right,
I'll be absolutely stunned if we sign JWP. It would definitely make us better, but it doesn't feel like something that will really happen.
I'd definitely be stunned as well.
Do you know what I think? Do you know what I think? There's something in this because although he is a top player, he ain't a fashionable player. He's not a fashionable signing. It's not like it's not a shirt sales signing, is it, James Ward-Prowse? I mean, look at the split. I would say if you put a poll out there at the moment, I reckon over 50% of West Ham fans will go no, not Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, who would you rather have? Phillips
Which is
or
strange.
Prowse? Would you rather have Phillips or Prowse?
Now I think I'd rather have Prowse.
Prowse. Yeah.
Phillips spends half of his time on the he's injured. He's injured all the time, you know.
Yeah. Very interesting. Who knows?
Okay, so let's run through a few comments and then move on to the next one.
So Kent Hammond says JWP is overrated. Only good thing about him is set plays. I beg to differ. I don't think he's like. You don't play 300 games by the age of 27 if you're overrated. You could say, like Nick said, Southampton are a lower bottom half team, but you know, to play that amount of games consistently, he ain't a bad player. I don't think you can. I don't think he's overrated.
Do you think it could be right? Because how long have we been blowing the trumpet of flying the flag of Declan Rice, saying how great he is? And I just think there's certain positions in the pitch that don't get recognised by opposition teams because you have to watch these players week in, week out. You've got to watch them to understand and value what they do in the game. And I think that's what it is. And I think he's not a match of the day player. You ain't going to see him on match of the day sort of skinning players and doing little pirouettes. He ain't like that. But I think maybe that's what it is. It might be that. It might be the fact that he's just a lot of what Declan Rice does.
People didn't see, especially other teams' fans, when Rice first come on the scene, because they weren't watching him week in, week out like we were. They questioned his ability, they questioned his class, and we said, no, you've got to watch him week in, week out, and see what he does off the ball.
Yeah, because they were really assessing him in the wrong way. They were assessing him against the likes of Lampard and people like that. But then there are people who play unglamorous roles in teams. You know, one of them should be Soucek, but you know, sadly it ain't. You remember what did Zinedine Zidane? He called Deschamps the water carrier, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he'd done all the unglamorous stuff. And Jeff Pike used to be like that for West Ham as well. Used to do all the donkey work. And those players are critical. They're important.
Who was the most important player in that successful Jose Mourinho Chelsea team? Makelele, wasn't it?
Yeah, Makelele.
And then you had Kante, Leicester, there, Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know, there's always them types of players. You need 11. You need a football team is made up of all different types of players, but unfortunately, the donkey workers, as we call them, or the water carriers, are just unglamorous and don't get the credit they deserve. Maybe that. What
we've got there is it maybe he's a bit of a water carrier, but he's a water carrier that gives us something. I mean, I am sorry if he delivers between 10 to 15 goals or 10 to 20 goals from set pieces every year. That's worth a lot of money.
These are two interesting points here, and it's something I mentioned a minute ago. So John says, would James Ward-Prowse be looking for assurances that Rice will stay in if he were to decide to sign? That's a good point. And then Dave, as we know, said, flip it the other way, Nick. Signing a £60 million player could be a reason to keep Rice with us.
Yeah. I know, but you know the way that my mind works, Dave.
Yeah, it shows. That definitely shows ambition. It definitely shows ambition. So that's another reason I hope it comes off.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Freshfielder there has corrected me. It was Cantona that called Deschamps the water carrier.
Ah, right.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Cheers, mate.
At least I got the story right, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just wrong characters.
There is
wrong characters. Anyway, thank you, John. So let's move on to the next one. So Mark Warburton, our new coach, replacing Stuart Pearce. Now, I hadn't heard of the bloke. I must admit, I hadn't heard of him. And when I read up on him today, I expected to be completely disinterested in his past. But it was actually quite interesting, surprisingly. I don't know if you'll find it interesting, but here we go. I mean, he played his football in non-league. He played for Enfield Town for I think 5 years, and then Boreham Wood for 3 years. He's a defender who had to give up. I think he was a fullback, and he had to give up football because he had a really bad cruciate injury. But while he was working at Enfield Town, or playing at Enfield Town, and this is a long time ago now, he became a trader, a currency trader, and he worked for like Bank of America, AIG, and RBS over a 20-year career. So he did that while he was playing football, and then his football career ended, and he carried on as a currency trader. And it reads like, you know, when you read the Wikipedia, it's like Mark Warburton wrote it. He said, "I spent 20 years as a market trader, getting up at I've got to get this right, getting up at 4:32 in the morning." So that I could leave the house at 4:52 and catch a train at 5:02. And I was thinking, how the bloody hell do you get up and get ready and get out the door to go and be a city trader dressed in a suit and everything in 20 minutes, unless you've got some kind of, you know, automatic machine like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, that thing where you get up and automatically get showered. I don't really buy it. So it kind of smells a little bit to me, but maybe it's right. Maybe that's what he done. Maybe he had people dressing him and stuff like that.
Maybe he didn't bother getting undressed, but you know, before bed, he just used to go to bed with his.
Maybe he didn't. But he said he was dealing with, you know, up to $2 billion a day. He was you know, a big high flying trader. He made his money. Paid for his house. Was independently rich or well off enough to go back to football, and he agreed with his wife that he was going to go back to football in 2013 and do it because that was his first love. And so he went back, and his first job back in football was managing Brentford, and he spent, I think, 4 years at Brentford. He did bloody well. He ended up getting them out of League One, back into the Championship, and nearly got them. He got them into the playoffs in the Championship. He had a checkered time, well, a very brief period at Forest lasting about 7 months. I think, you know, the reason he left Brentford, by the way, there was new owners came in, and they wanted to use this kind of Red Bull model of statistics in assessing which players they were going to buy. You know, the thingy, the money ball kind of concept. And I don't think he bought into that, which I find strange for a currency trader. Surely it'd have been all over the data, right? Yeah. So that those two parts of it don't quite add up. But he ended up leaving there. He went to Rangers, and that was probably his most
hang on,
success.
Gary. Sorry, in what capacity was he at Brentford? Was he the manager? First team?
Manager.
He was.
He went in as an assistant, but then I can't remember the manager was there. But then he took over the reins when he got sacked, basically. So he was
And he was really successful. He set all sorts of new records. You know, he won 6 on the bounce at the beginning of one season. I think there was a 19-game unbeaten run at the beginning of one season as well. He really did well, and he ended up like, you know, he didn't really give a reason as to why he left, other than this new idea of signing players came in, a new leadership. So he decided they weren't, you know. And so I think he went to Rangers 2015, 2016, when Rangers were in the Championship, right? And he got them promoted out of the Scottish Championship, and also won the kind of lower tier Scottish Cup, which is called the Scottish Challenge Cup. So he won both of those titles for Rangers, and then got voted, even though he was a championship manager, he got announced the Scottish Manager of the Year.
Oh, blimey.
Which I think is bloody impressive, really.
Yeah.
And then his last couple of jobs haven't been that impressive. He spent 7 months at Forest. He joined there in March, and I don't know whether it happened at a party, but he got fired on New Year's Eve in the same year, right? Which I think was 2017. And QPR, I think he spent a season or so there, but no, you know, didn't really do much. And then he seems to have just been, you know, banging around, and I don't know what the relationship is with David Moyes, but fact is, he sounds like an interesting character. One thing that he did was, when one of his teams, I think Brentford, had an away game at Leyton Orient, they were staying in a hotel over Canary Wharf, and he said, right, I want to show you what real work is like. And he took the whole team up to the HSBC trading floor to show them what a big trading operation. Well, I suppose to say, look how fortunate you are playing football and stuff like that. Look at these blokes. You know, the stress.
I'm not sure.
I
will say though. I will say one thing. I think there's harder working people he could have taken them to see.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no, absolutely. But the thing is, you know what it's like. If someone's a trader and they've worked, they've got in the office at 5:45 every day and they've worked till 7 p.m. and they're taking calls from New York in the night and stuff like that. They think they're the master of the universe, right? And they think it's the hardest job. It's very high pressure and all that kind of stuff. All that job is very long hours. And I suppose that was the message, but apparently it worked.
Do you think there's anything in the rumour? Obviously, we all saw the message that got relayed from a certain platform, whereby they thought that Warburton had been earmarked for the to become the manager of Birmingham once his takeover had gone through.
Oh my God, that is an extended conspiracy theory, isn't it?
No. Well, no, it came from a proper source. I won't say who, but basically, that's what they were saying, that he was earmarked. He was by Sullivan to become the Birmingham manager. So if there is any truth in that, do you think that there's any chance that Warburton's been shoved at Moyes, or do you think Moyes is?
Hang on a minute.
No.
But if that conspiracy theory was true,
I'm not saying it is true. I'm not saying it is true.
But listen, that would have meant there would have had to have been a position for him to fill at West Ham, which meant they would have had to have got rid of Stuart Pearce in the first place. My God, come on.
Yeah, I know.
I ain't buying that, but what I will say is he doesn't he doesn't tend to stay anywhere very long. But then again, nor does Stuart Pearce, right? Nor do other first team coaches. I think they do that. They do work hard. West Ham last year being in the management team must have been hard work, right? They were traveling all the time. They probably didn't see much of their families, and probably a couple of years and you get a bit burnt out, I would imagine. But I don't buy that. That is an extended conspiracy theory building on the other conspiracy theory. So I'm not.
Yeah,
I think he's very similar to Stuart Pearce because he was in and around the non-league football when he was a player.
Can I read this out? Shall I read it out? Yeah, right. This is it. Right. Okay. On the appointment of Mark Warburton, there was information on a deal. Blah 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 blah. Right. Warburton was involved in talks to become Birmingham City manager, and David Sullivan had been financially supporting the takeover of his former club by Lawrence Bassini, and therefore spoke to Mark Warburton during the process. The actual takeover seems to be struggling to get over the line, which left Warburton in limbo. David Sullivan offered Warburton as a replacement for Stuart Pearce to Moyes, and as a result, the deal was wrapped up quickly after Moyes' approval.
Oh, so that's how he ended up with Moyes then. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Can you reveal the source of that source?
No.
Nick, are you now an ITK?
No, I'm not. It's the same information that most people get.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not going to name names. Go on.
So look, I mean, you want a proven. Every number two he's had so far has been someone with good, strong managerial experience, and this is another one, right? Yeah. So I don't think it's, maybe this is someone that David Moyes knew already, and maybe Sullivan was the one who made the introduction. But either way, Moyes was very, very. He seemed to be very happy in what he said about him. Again, I can't quote it, but he seemed to be gushing. Yeah.
He came to my attention when he was at Brentford. He did very well at Brentford. I think they got into the playoffs, and he was. I think the Brentford owners at the time, I'm not sure if it's the same owners, but at the time they sort of revealed that they were going to sack him at the end of the season, come what may, which was a very strange thing. So that's a bit. Not sure what happened there. When you said he got sacked on New Year's Eve, he might be a bit of a fiery character. He might be a bit of a tenacious git. And I think that maybe he's been brought in because he may be, if you listen to his history as a manager, short time at clubs, falls out with people, maybe, might be a bit of a shouter. I think he's very much in the mould of Stuart Pearce to some degree,
Well, I once, when I worked for Bank of America many years ago, I I had to. I was working in IT, don't worry. I wasn't making money, and I had to go down to the Life place, the International Futures Exchange, and I had to be inducted to get a yellow jacket to go in to look at the technology, right? And I had to do a full induction like the pit traders did, and basically I spent a whole day in a room with these blokes, and I swear, if they weren't training to be traders, they'd be down the market. They'd be down Romford Market. These guys are. It's a harsh, aggressive environment. I know he probably didn't do. Well, I don't know whether he did pit trading or whether he did sitting on a nice, cozy trading floor. But I've also worked in those places as well. They're all harsh. They're all harsh, hard, tough, dog eat dog environment. So he's not going to be a shrinking violet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No. I think you're right.
Right. Do you want to do some comments, John?
Yeah, mate. Let's just quickly get to where we start talking about Warburton. Scotty R says Warburton looks like a wise signing. Freshfielder says, so he's made his dough then? Is he talking about the fact that he's bred?
He'd made his money first, yeah.
Apparently he's comfortable, yeah.
No, I think that's one of Sean's. I think that's one of Sean's jokes, and that's why it's got
Oh, bloody hell! It's another bread reference. Yeah, well done, Sean. Sorry, straight over my head.
Not very funny.
Use your loaf, Gal. Use your loaf.
Ken Ammers says, great signing, Warburton. Very good with money. Made money in the city. Coach from the bottom up. Really good signing. Yeah. Warburton is a fantastic addition. A lot of people liking it. Quality signing. Warburton is a great coach. He's intelligent. Will be a great number 2. We will have trouble to keep him. Bloody hell. Stephen says, evening chaps, late to the party.
Hello, Steve.
Dave's insulting me, alluding to the fact that I apparently don't work hard as a cab driver. How would you know, How would you know, Dave? You used bloody Ubers, mate, when you came in. He had 3 seasons at QPR, and I think he progressed each season and fell short of a playoffs. Yeah, and somebody said an interesting fact here. You know that bloke Eze, who's now at Palace?
Yeah.
Eze, he was at QPR, and Warburton done well with him. You know, Warburton gave him a lot of time, put a lot into him, and I reckon he's gone from a nothing player to like a 20 million pound player, and a lot of it's down to Warburton. I can't find the
You know, this is what I love about these comments, and Sean did it earlier, and Kent's done it now, and that is they've sensed the weakness in my information because I knew nothing about his time at QPR, and he's just gone in and plugged the gap. So thanks for that. Yeah, he obviously did well. He's got a good reputation as a manager.
Yes, I think John's frozen again.
Oh, John. Warburton reminds me. He's still moving the comments, though.
Oh, he is.
Oh, he is. He's back.
He's back.
Yeah, his eyes are moving. His eyes are moving.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We can
hear
you.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah. I won't swear then.
Go on,
I don't know what's happening. Every time I come on, there's a problem. When I'm not on, it's brilliant. Warburton reminds me of a disgraced geography teacher who gets asked to explain it inappropriately.
That's brilliant.
I don't know why he does, but now you've said it, I can picture it. Oh, God. Sorry, that's really made me laugh. Yeah, there we go. I found the comment from Ken Ammers. And Warburton oversaw Eze's development to turn him from a free transfer to a £20 million player.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry about that.
It's superb. So look, that's Mark Warburton done. Welcome aboard, Mark. On to the next item. This is Nick's wet dream. It's been reported that Soucek's agent is trying to find a new club for him. Nick, over to you.
Well, look, if I had the choice of keeping him, I would. But the fact of the matter is he's got 2 years left on his deal. 2 years left on his deal. We know that there's apparently a bit of an impasse between him and Moyes, if you believe the rumours. He's been looking for a contract raise for more or less the entire season. They can't agree on terms. And he was poor last year. He was poor. There's no getting away from it. Everything that he was good at in those first 18 months, he wasn't doing last year. I mean, the one thing, apart if you take his goals out of the equation, take Soucek's goals away, what he is he's normally a disruptive influence in midfield, isn't he? He's kind of that battler in central midfield. I don't even really think that we've been seeing too much of that. It's not. I don't know whether it's through lack of trying or whether he was tired or whether it was. I don't know what it is, but he just never seemed. He didn't seem very happy. And I've never been his biggest fan, even when he was banging in goals. I've not been, because I think his goals masked his ability, if you like. And we've said it before. I think Moyes said after the Arsenal game when he was quizzed about players, and I've said this so many times, and he basically said that the reason I picked Soucek basically is because of his height, because he's big, because he gives you, and that's quite insulting, really.
Well, he did say that. Yeah.
It is quite insulting, and like I say, you need more. And I think if you go back to when Soucek first came in, I think David Moyes needed runners in the team. I think Soucek was a superb signing. He was tremendous. He really was. He was so important to what we did. But our style did change. It changed when Lingard came in.
Yeah.
And I think once that happened, and we went from shithouse football, which was basically sitting deep, getting the ball forward, relying on slow build-up play, which allowed Soucek to get up the pitch and make late runs into the box and goals from set pieces, to like fast, fluid, Jesse Lingard driving the ball through the middle. I think Soucek almost became a little bit lost in that style. So I think maybe we've been harsh on him. Maybe it's not because he's been sulking or anything like that. I'm starting to feel like because of our changing style, I think we've outgrown him. And because you would imagine that Soucek is David Moyes' wet dream for a type of player, that he would normally get. And if David Moyes is honestly considering selling him, then he must see it the same way.
I'll tell you what, I'm a polar opposite to you in terms of I really, really loved Soucek in the season before last. I adored the bloke.
I think him.
I think he got Player of the Year for an absolutely outstanding season, didn't he? He was brilliant. Everyone loved him apart from Munich. But last season, now he had a long summer. He didn't really get a break. He come back. People think he was tired. I don't really buy the tiredness thing, because a couple of games where Rice didn't play, Soucek looked really good. Right, and so that to me says that he's not.
That was against Burnley, and that was against Watford.
Yeah, right. But it says to me, it suggests perhaps that he's not entirely happy playing the role that he's been asked to play alongside Rice. But secondly, I also think, and this is something I hadn't noticed the season before because it wasn't there, other teams early in the season started to figure him out. As in, if you crowd him, he panics.
He can't operate in tight spaces. And he almost gets pressed. That's what I mean. I think if you're going to get found out, everyone eventually in the Premier League, if you've got a weakness, you will get found out in the Premier League. You will. And I just think he has, and it is. Look, maybe I don't think he's done it. I don't even think it's that. I think if he went to another team that played the right style for him, I think he'd be useful again, because I think. Almost when you do play sort of that slow build-up play, like the way that we was doing, where we was allowing the fullbacks to meander up the pitch, which allowed Soucek to get up, you put in those crosses in. I think at that point there, you can't defend against Soucek because he's so good at those late runs into the box. But I think he's made for a certain style, and I don't think that I don't think he suits our current style, if I'm honest. And I don't want to go back to how we was playing before. I like the way that we're playing now.
So, John, be the voice of reason. Go on.
So obviously, when you hear all these stories about a players demanding this and the players demanding that, for the life of me, I don't get the picture that Soucek is that type of guy. I don't get the impression that he's sitting there demanding this, that, and the other. Right. So it's got to be coming from his agent, right? So what I said before was agents' jobs are there to get their player the best price possible. Now, if the agent is asking for what are they asking for, 90.
Something like that, yeah.
It's 100. No, it's 100. He wants.
Wow.
He's asking. They're asking for 100, but it's a negotiation. They're always going to go for. You go down a car boot sale. Someone says 30 quid. You say I'll give you 15. It's common for the agent to go in at the higher bracket of a wage negotiation or wage increase. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that the player's throwing his toys out the pram and saying, I'm worth X amount, firstly. Yeah. Secondly, I don't think Soucek is that type of player. I don't know him personally, but he doesn't come across like that, right? I think you've got the fact that Soufal, his best mate, is at the club, right? And we know Soufal didn't have a great season last year either, but there is that common factor there that he wants to stay. And also, the fourth thing for me would be that as a club, and I'm not saying we have to give him what he wants, but as a club, we need to build this squad that we've been demanding. So there is absolutely no point in getting rid of him on the back of the fact that we possibly know Rice is going next season, and just bring in another centre midfield to replace Soucek, because we're no further ahead then in the squad depth, are we?
But the only thing that I will say, one thing that we haven't considered is that maybe Soucek isn't settled and he doesn't want to be here. There's rumours that he's eyeing moves to Germany. Maybe he's just not happy with the move over here. I don't think playing alongside Declan Rice is probably helping him, because playing alongside a world-class central midfielder that you are constantly being compared to probably is not helping him in any way, shape or form. And that might be why he excels when Rice is not on the pitch, because maybe he gets a bit of a, I don't know, he gets
it's a good point. Good point.
Imposter syndrome when he's on the pitch, when Rice is on the pitch next to him, doesn't feel like he belongs.
If you notice though with Rice, not only because he moves and looks for the ball, but a lot of times every player on the pitch looks to give it to Rice. So they may a little bit be a bit of guilt that the other players, especially Soucek, may be a little bit guilty of saying, right, I'll give it to him because he's the man. And I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not trying to condone Soucek's lack of, I suppose, passing ability to some extent, but he only looks for Rice a lot. He just shuffles it 2-3 yards to Rice.
Yeah,
is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know.
Honestly, there was one game, I can't put my finger on what it was, but we spoke about it. This passage of play, and it was basically it was like the game. You had Declan Rice on the left, you had Soucek on the right, and every ball that was played out of defence, it was going to Rice. Everyone was going to Rice. After about 15 minutes, the ball found itself to Rice. He gave it to Soucek. Soucek just gave it straight back.
Yeah, exactly.
It was his instinct. He just gave it straight back to him. So I don't know. And you are right, Gary. I know he did play very well in that Watford game in particular. Yeah. And the other thing that proved as well, which is something I've always said about Soucek, that proved, because he played the Rice role, that proved he can play central defensive midfielder. His two best performances this year was shielding the back four.
Yeah.
He can do it. He can do that.
Of course he can. Of course he can.
But he doesn't. It almost feels like he doesn't like doing it when Rice is there.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to do it.
If you think about it, that would be his perfect position. It should be anyway, really, because he doesn't want to get stuck with a ball, right? So he needs to take it off the back four and just give it, right? If he could do that, give it to a partner who's going to use it, then short pass, he'd be fine. The one thing that bothers me about this is the pay rise thing, because surely after winning Amateur of the Year, him and his agent would have been in a prime position last summer to have asked for a pay rise and a longer contract. Now, I don't know whether that happened or whether he got a bump or whatever, or whether this is another leap, or if he hasn't had a new contract at all. I don't know what the situation is, but the one time to not ask for a pay rise is when you're playing badly.
No, that's exactly right.
And so that's why the club, he was asking for a pay rise 3 months into the season when he was having a mare, and the club went cold on it and said, no, we'll talk to you in September.
It could also be a bit of good timing on their part, though, because I've just had a flash there of inspiration. If they're adamant as everyone else is that Rice is going next season, they're sort of trying to put a gun. The agent could be saying, well, you're going to lose Rice next year, and if you don't pay us what we want for him, you're going to lose him as well. So then you've lost both your centre midfielders. So there could be an element of good timing on their part as they see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might be that way around as well.
But that definitely worries me, losing both of them next season. It really does.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But anyway,
let's go through some comments.
Yeah, let's go through some comments.
Okay, so Scotty R says, I don't want to lose our potato salad. Claire, as ever.
No, we shouldn't sell him.
No, John. Give him a few seconds. He's back.
Yeah,
you're back. You're back.
No,
you're back.
Mate, I don't know what's going on with that. Sorry about that. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Go on.
Yeah. In any market, you want the best you've got to spend the cash. No, I've got again. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you haven't.
We spend 150 million. Still, West Ham voice. Still, if you haven't already followed Still's channel, please do so. Been thinking about this a lot. As it stands, with the 2 loan signings ending, we will need 5 or 6 players. If we sell any first-team players, we will need to replace them like for like. That's exactly what I've been saying. We can't afford really to get rid of any first-team players. You know, Ben Rama gets a lot of stick. We still need him. We need him from the bench. You're going to have a lot of games where people are sitting on the bench and taking turns. You know.
I never had Soucek on my sell list. I had Diop, I had Vlasic, I had Masuaku, and I had, who was the other one? But anyway, there were 4 of them, and he wasn't one of them. Soucek wasn't one of them.
But if you can keep, look, don't get me wrong. If you can keep, if Soucek's happy, but if Soucek's happy to be a squad player, you keep him. He is a good player. I'm not saying he's crap. Yeah. By any means, but I just don't think he would be happy with that, Gary. I think he needs to be playing.
Maybe, or maybe he would be happy in a squad system where he's not playing every single minute of every single game.
Yeah, no, but he's definitely not irreplaceable.
No,
I think only Rice is irreplaceable at the minute, if I'm honest, in the team. Alan says we have got to give him another 6 months, sell him in the winter transfer window. If he doesn't improve, he was played at a position last season to suit Deck. Yeah, Nick's had this debate. We've had this debate on going through the season about Deck and Soucek and what positions they should play. And I think you said, Nick, at one stage, Soucek never scored that many goals anywhere else that he's played previously. And when he came to West Ham and had that flurry of goals,
it was
all of a sudden
an anomaly. It was. Yeah.
And
a lot of them were from set pieces. That they were, and look, he is really good at that late run into the box. It's not you can't take that away from him. He is a threat in that position, but that is his threat, though. You know, in an attacking sense.
Dzeko.
Dzeko, is he?
No, he's about 50 now, isn't he?
He is, isn't he?
He's 34, 35, probably. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We're going to be linked with everyone. We will. If Soucek goes, we need 6 or 7 players. If Benny goes, 7 and 8, so we can't get rid of anyone. Yeah, exactly that. Gary says, as we've sort of pretty much says, evening, you make the bench stronger if he sits on the bench. It's a start. But then are you going to give him a pay rise to sit him on the bench? No. But we've got to play the squad game better than we ever had, and that's why we need the squad and we can't sell anyone.
And then if you keep him next year and you don't sign a contract, you're going into his last year.
Yeah, and
you're going to lose a 30-40 million pound player for nothing, isn't you? That's what's going to happen.
Just want to say it's good to have a Gary in the chat. Welcome, Gary.
Is there another Gary?
Yeah,
Gary.
Gary. Dave disagrees with the comment you made earlier. I think it was Gary, maybe, or Nick.
No.
Moyes played Soucek deeper last season, and Declan was allowed to push on. Soucek is not a holding midfielder. Nick?
So Dave, why were his best games this season when he was playing in Rice's role, shielding the defence?
Yeah, that is a valid point.
It's a valid point. That's where his best games were.
Exactly that. Robert says, not his goals. He is good for it. His defensive headers. He is good for it. What's he good for? He's good for it for a time. Isn't it? He's good for it. Oh, the play rise, I'd imagine.
He's saying it's not his goals he's good for. It's his defensive headers.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's what he's saying.
Gary's. Is this another Gary or the same Gary? This is crazy. Too many.
Gary with 2 R's.
Gary with 2 R's.
Welcome, Gary. All the Garys are in. And look, there's another one. Can I just jump here in a minute? Garino's saying, I'm a Gary. There's Garys everywhere. We're here, we're there, we're every fucking where.
Yeah, but this Gary has surely spelt his name wrong.
No, well, I don't spell it with 2 R's, but some Garys do. I support any format of Gary, right? Because there was a rumor. There was a rumor a little while ago that Garys were dying out by 2050, and we're going to prove that wrong. Right?
No, I don't know who in their right mind calls a newborn baby Gary.
One day it'll be a retro name, right? There'll be some celebrity called Gary, and before you know it, there'll be all sprogs popping out everywhere called Gary. We'll come again. Garys will rise again. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, hang on. Claire's feeling sorry for Soucek. The poor bloke had 3 big head injuries last season by throwing himself to save the team, and he is still not good enough.
He was better with a headband on. He wasn't.
I was going to say that.
Sorry, and I think it might be. Look, that might be why he's not playing well. Maybe he's just got like long-term concussion. I don't know. Yeah, he could have. That might be what the problem is. He's just dizzy. He don't know where he is.
Nick, please do. Nick, can you do your impression one more time?
No, I can't. Go on.
I'd keep Thomas if at all possible, because second half of this season, come in, I think he will do well because his country hasn't got the World Cup. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I think he's tired, and if we've got a centre midfield to play with, Thomas will flourish.
He ain't played any more than Declan Rice, though.
No. Yeah, but listen, you said this earlier. He suffers probably by playing alongside Rice. Rice is superhuman. Rice is immensely world class. We can't really judge anyone in our team alongside Rice because he, in my opinion, he's far and above better than most of them, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Can we sort these comments and put the Garys at the top so their comments get read out first because someone's gone on the Gary Glitter rampage down here.
What's your favourite biscuit? What's your favourite biscuit, Gal? What's your favourite biscuit, Gal?
Gary
Baldy.
Gary Baldy. There we go.
Yeah.
Can't stand them things.
There's a Gary. Soucek hasn't had a break for 2.5 seasons. He is shattered and being asked to play a different role to accommodate Rice. So Rice is getting the blame now. Oh my God.
Oh, terrible Rice. So you know what does make me laugh about this, right? When people have this logic to shackle a superior player to make an inferior player look better.
Can we have another season of this? Bloody hell.
No, but it is true. What sense does that make? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense. I'll never understand it.
Can we cut John off, please, before I start throwing the spanner out? She ain't been on for weeks and actually trying to take over the joint. Who gave her that spanner in the first place? James Bong said, I don't think people appreciate the amount of work Soucek puts in, especially defensively. If Gold Sullivan Brady sells him, I'm going on a march.
Won't be them. It'll be Moyes. It'll be Moyes selling him.
Yeah, true.
Very true. Don't blame him. Yeah, exactly. By the way, John, no one is irreplaceable, even Declan. No, you're right. No one's irreplaceable, but it will be a lot harder to replace Declan than maybe Soucek. Let's be honest.
I would say this season, Declan's irreplaceable. You need a strategy to replace Declan, right? So if we're going to get rid of him, if we're going to lose him next summer, we've got all that time to plan for it. We need to know what we're going to do post Declan. We can't just suddenly lose him now because then that screws our next season.
Yeah.
Nick, we've had this conversation. Declan is better at holding midfield.
I know. He's just like Zidane still, and he's just like Zidane, mate. I know.
Also, Nick, they're gunning for you again, Nick. Soucek contributes more goals than Rice, so it makes sense for him to be the one get forward.
But John, that goes back to what we were saying. He's not for you. You admit that he's not an actual. It's not his game. He's not a goal scorer.
No, he's not. He doesn't score from open play, does he? Generally, most of his goals have been set pieces. I'm not. Listen, I like the hard-working player. I think he works exceptionally hard.
He does. He runs a lot.
But you're taking the mickey now because you're saying that. Yes, you are. You're saying that like it means nothing. He runs a lot. Wow. But there's a lot to be said for that, Nick. Work ethic, mate. Right. But I don't believe he is as free scoring goal scorer as we saw when he first came. He did get a lot of goals from set pieces, corners, and crosses, whatever. Yeah. He doesn't score loads of goals from open plays. I just think he's suffering playing alongside Rice because Rice is just a world-class player, and I think he struggles with it. I really do. And I think people like you, Nick, probably not people like you, because I'm not singling you out. But what I think is, I'm being honest with you. I think the problem that you're Nick, when we played football, you was a very flamboyant player, or so you thought, right?
Well, I was. I had a wonderful right foot.
Yeah, but you didn't appreciate players like me who put the tackles in. You used to come off the pitch with not a bit of mud on you. I was covered in mud. That tells me what sort of player you were.
That was John from the back.
Yeah, it was. Nothing wrong with that. And you was still there doing your hair in the mirror.
Yeah.
Anyway, hang on. The Not Gary Glitter Collective are currently having a vote of confidence in Soucek. Oh dear! Comments. The Garys are taking over. No more comments. My God.
Right.
Oh, dear.
So look, let's move on. This one's going to be quick before we move on to the fun bit, the team selector and everything else. So look, John, this one's for you, and this is it's come back again. The rumour has come back again. It's been dismissed. It's been dismissed, but who knows? Lingard talks are underway. What do you reckon, John?
I don't know. It's the longest. It's such a long saga, and it's been driving me nuts now. As I'm sure it has everyone else. Everyone's got their opinion on it. Would I want him back? Of course I would. But I'd want him back in the form that he was when he came to us. Was it 18 months ago now? Must have been 18 months ago, isn't it? Of course, bloody hell, seems ages. I'm not sure now. I'm not questioning his ability, and I'm not questioning him as a human being, right? Now at 29, he's got one last big move, right? I'm not sure now he's going to come to us with the same ambition, the same drive, the same point to prove what he had when he came to us 18 months ago. He had a point to prove. He was trying to achieve something. He was trying to get back in the books, of England and things like that at the time. Does he now have the ambition of that anymore? I thought he would come to us last summer because I genuinely thought he would want to get back in the England squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers in Qatar, which is happening at the back end of this year. If he joins us if he joins us now and the season starts in August, can he fight his way back into the England team? Does he think he has a shot at it? I'm not so sure. I think his time has come and gone for England. And I do question whether he can come in and make the same impact. Not question his ability, but question if he will have the same desire. You know what I mean? I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love us to sign him, but I'm judging that purely on what he did 18 months ago. But what has he done since then? I know he hasn't been given a chance, but he's just sat on the bench for 18 months.
He's done bugger all. He's wasted another year of his life sitting around at Man U. I mean, look, I know it's his boiled club and everything, but there comes a point where surely you've got to cut your losses and go, look, I want out. I'm out of here. Nick's gone on mute. Is he having sound problems?
Sorry, I've got clicking on the audio from you lot, but it's not. It's not. It's just my sound. That's all.
It's not coming through to me.
That's fine. As long as it ain't affecting the stream, that's fine.
Yeah. No. So yeah. Look, I mean, I just wish this would get done, finished. I wish someone would come out officially and say it's never going to happen. Even Lingard come out and say I'm not going to West Ham, and Moyes to say we're not chasing Lingard anymore. But it's always just paper talk on it. So but it could be. It could be that Andy Dennis, keep him muted. It could be that he was always going to sign. For all we know, that the agreement was always there. He could, as soon as his contract expires, he could rock up at West Ham. We just don't know. That could have already been agreed. So all of this speculation and stories that from all the sources where it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. We get the ump with Lingard. It might not even be Lingard in his camp. No. It could just be random stories, And we're frustrated because we're bored with it because it's been running for so long through multiple windows. Yeah. But we'd all be happy. If he did sign, we'd be happy with it. Be delighted.
I'm not bothered. I wouldn't be bothered if he didn't. Now, because I've literally, it's like apathy now. I'm like, whatever. Yeah. But if he did actually, if he did actually sign, brilliant. I would be happy.
If we signed him, we'd sell Ben Rama the following day.
No, I don't think we. But I don't. What's the point of that, girl?
I would keep Benny as a squad player, 100%.
I genuinely, I've had a go about Ben Rama's, not fulfilling his potential and being a bit wasteful in possession more often than not, but. We've said it before, impact player, 15, 20 minutes. But will he be happy sitting on the bench? Probably not, but he'll have to deal with it. And that will come to question his character as a footballer and, being a squad player. I don't know. But I don't think we can send anyone. Just because this is what I'm saying. If we bring in Lingard, don't get rid of Benny. If we bring in JWP, if that ever happens, you can't just sell Soucek,
Listen, I'm happy to keep Benny as an option.
Yeah.
I don't think he's what some people think and he's a regular first teamer. That's not maybe he'll be that one day, but he's definitely not that at the moment.
No.
What is he? 27 going on 28 or something?
He's 30. You talking about Ben Rama or Lingard?
Yeah, Ben Rama.
Oh, yeah. No, he's about 26, 27, isn't he? But
Lingard's 29.
Lingard's 29. He'll be 30 by the time the season starts. I think that's pretty much what it is. But with Lingard. I don't think he's going to... There's been rumours, look, we don't know if they're true, that he's holding the clubs to ransom. We don't know that. There could have already been a pre-agreement there. I don't think he's going to get stupid money, Lingard, because as well as he did for us for 6 months, he's done fuck all else for the last year. He's hardly played.
No, that's right.
Remember, any free transfer gets a massive signing-on fee because you've saved on the transfer fee. So he'll probably get, I don't know,
10 million. He'll probably get 10 million. Probably get 10 million with the agent.
Yeah. He'll get that. But his agent is his brother, is that right?
Yeah. And his dad. His dad as well.
Not being horrible. I'm sure they're lovely people, but I'm not sure that his brother does a lot of good for him in terms of, I think he puts a lot of tweets out. We know he's sort of had a little bit of dig at West Ham fans last season at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So, as much as he's his brother and he probably trusts him, it could probably damage our perception of Lingard because his brother's a bit of a I don't know, condescending twat, I suppose, to some extent, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think his brother has not yet cottoned on to the fact that, you know, a West Ham fan tweeting something on Twitter doesn't represent all West Ham fans.
No.
And you think he'd know that with a following that Man United had got, because he must have got untold grief from Man United fans from time to time.
Yeah.
It's naive, isn't it? It's naive.
It is very naive. It is very naive. We just got some comments here regarding Lingard. So Claire says, I would have Lingard back, but can't we just get it bloody sorted? I think that's exactly what we just want it done either way now. I think Lingard will have a point to prove to Man United. Ultimately, he could not leave due to Man United messing him about. Mr. Mace says the wages Lingard allegedly wants are ludicrous. His agent brother thinks he's Maradona. If he wanted to join us that much, he'd compromise on the dough he wants. Swerve.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't think he's going to get that reported money anywhere else.
What is the reported money? I actually haven't read it today. If I'm honest,
it was something like 175 grand a week or something.
I thought it was 150.
Was it 150?
Yeah, no. I think what they were doing was that whoever it was, I think it was Claret and Hugh, or they were being very, very clever. They were taking his signing on fee and incorporating it into his wage package and coming out with an average.
That's a shitty thing to do, isn't it? So yeah, that's coming back to me now. So it turns out those wage demands were not true, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You can't. Okay. Why would you break down his signing on fee as part of his wages? Because it isn't part of his weekly wage.
And I said it in euros as well because it sounds like more. It's just
brilliant.
I don't think they did that, but it's what they do, though, isn't it? It's what they do.
Yeah, I don't read all that. But Dan Scarzy says Lingard is doing what every player does, holding out for the best deal. Yeah, that is fine. I agree. Like I said at the beginning of the show, agents and that want to get the best for their player. Totally understand that, but we just want it over. I think that's the frustration.
I think if you look upon it like that, it is his last big transfer of his entire footballing career.
Yeah.
And he's probably given up on England already, so he's probably going to take his time.
Yeah, there could be that. Lingard was going to sign at the end of last January window, but then Greenwood situation happened. Yeah, it did. I think, it did. The Greenwood situation happened, and I think we were told we need you to stay because of what's happened to Greenwood. Yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point. Lingard is a bit like splitting up with the wife and going back because of the great sex. Problem is, he has looked impotent this season. Let's hope Sullivan has stuck a...
Oh dear.
Claire's got a bit of a bee in her bonnet about the North Africans from Algeria. If we get rid of Benrahma, 200 million Algerians won't be happy. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Claire will be, though.
What?
I said Claire will be.
Claire's already waiting for the Moroccans incoming, isn't she? After we've signed We're going to have loads of Moroccan fans all of a sudden start turning up. What's this one? Lingard is what we were crying out for last season. We were so ponderous at times. Lingard had that initial blast of pace. Yeah, he did. Nick said it. He brought a spark. He brought a pace about our attacking sense. So I think, of course, look, any one of us would want him back if he came back and performed straight away like he did last season. There's no doubt about it. Lee says, Nick's son, in my opinion, if he signs, he can't go straight back into the squad like I'd imagine Moyes would do so. He would have to re-earn his spot like many others players have had to in the past. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. No one plays just because they're a big name. But when you've got a bigger squad, you can put players in who are in form rather than because it's all you got. You know?
I think as it stands at the moment, I think he would walk straight into that team.
Probably.
Because it would be Fornals or Benny, right? Fornals or Benny would drop out for him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or Lanzini.
Some of these comments.
Right.
Hang on.
No.
Did you hear that?
Some of them are disgusting.
By the way, did you hear that the club are looking at offering Lanzini a new deal?
Brilliant news.
Why not?
Yeah. Brilliant news.
And Lanzini will be happy being a squad player. He'll accept it. He'll embrace it, and he'll do his best every time he comes on the pitch. You know.
I think it's perfect, and I think he had a great season in part last year, didn't he, Lanzini?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the only worry there was that there was rumours that he wanted to go back to River Plate, wasn't there? Once his contract expired, but he can do that at any point. He can go back there when he's 35, can't he?
It's probably River Plate tweeting that, wasn't it?
One question I'd like to ask you, because I've been doing this with you 10 months now or something.
Yeah.
If and when we sign Lingard, will the ITKs who said we were going to sign him 2 years ago still take credit for it? How does it work?
Yeah.
They called it first. Yeah, they called it first.
Of course, yeah. Goes without saying.
So if we recommend if we say we're signing someone now and it happens in 5 years, do we get credit for that?
Yeah. That's where it works.
We should start doing that. We should.
I know.
I knew about it last week, but I couldn't tell you because it would have upset someone at the club. So
Yeah.
anyway, look, anyway, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
That's it.
We just did.
Right. So, you finished with the comments, John?
Yeah, there's only Stell talking rubbish, so I'm not going to put him up anymore.
Oh, right. Right. So this is the last item of the evening. It's an activity. It's an interactive thing.
Yep.
So, Nick, over to you.
Right, okay. Here we go. Let's see if I can share my screen.
This is Nick's dream because he is a fantasy football supporter.
Yeah. That's it. Right, hang on. Let's get rid of that. Okay, can you all say that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, good. Right, I'll tell you what, we go with John. So first of all, we know we've got the reported 150 million, which is now 125 million. Obviously news now that we've signed Areola, so it's even less. So we've got 115 million to spend. So what we go to use to, right? We've got to pad out our team. Now what we can do, we can sell some players. You know, you got your obvious ones that we can sell. If we do decide to sort of get rid of some players, we'll put values on them, and that can add to the total. But ultimately, we want to build our new team, and then we'll put them on the lineup predictor in a bit.
Oh,
So what do you want to do first? Should we sell some players?
Let's sell some players.
Let's sell Vlasic, please. Can we please sell Vlasic?
Right. So Vlasic, 15 million. Yeah, you reckon? Gone.
We won't get 15 million for him. 10 million.
10 million. You reckon 10?
Yeah.
Right. So he's going. Who else is going?
Masuaku.
Well, see, what are you going to get for him?
5.
30 bob. 30 bob.
Right. Okay. Go on. Right. Who else is going? Is Diop going?
Diop's going.
Okay. Right.
And look, this is me, so I'm going to say Ben Rama's going.
No, I don't want Diop going.
The thing is, Gal, if you do that, look at the squad. So if you pull Ben Rama over here, look how many players we've got left.
All right, let's not lose Ben. Leave Ben Rama there then. Leave Ben Rama there.
Yeah.
Funny you should say that. So let's look at that. 10 million for Vlasic. I reckon 5 million for Masuaku from Fulham. And I reckon 20 million for Diop.
Do you reckon we'll still get 20?
Yeah, 30 easily.
So you say we're back
anything wrong.
So we're back up to 150 million, yeah?
Yeah, I think we are, yeah.
Okay. All right, good
We
stuff.
are. We should be running the club. That is brilliant business. Well done, lads.
I know, right. Right, so these are the players that we're linked with. So I think left backs. Let's start with a left back. So you got your obviously, you know, the star player there is Ram.
Hang on, before you start, let's just do a recap. So what we've done is we've let but we bought Aguerd, we bought Areola, right?
Yeah,
so that
Areola's
took us down to 115, and then we sold 3 players in Vlasic, Masuaku, and Diop for 35, taking us back up to 150. So now we're going to spend that 150.
So what? I'll tell you what. First thing we've got to look at here. What do we need in terms of our team? So when you look at just Rice and Soucek, we need another central midfielder, don't we?
Yes.
We need a cup. We need a striker, which we know we need a striker. We need a centre midfielder backup, or not backup, but someone challenging those two. And we need a left back. To me, they're the priorities, and I'm sure most people would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
so John, what we'll do is we'll leave you with a left back. What left back are you going to go for? We've either got Zinchenko, who isn't a left back. He's a central midfielder that gets used as a left back by Pep. We've got Ram, who is a pick of the lot. He's different class, but he's 35 million. Or we've got Aaron Hickey.
Well, I saw Aaron Hickey play. I don't know if I've told you this, but when I went to AC Milan recently and watched AC Milan versus Bologna, I hadn't seen him play before, only on YouTube and that, and he was exceptional. He was very, very good that night.
He's a brilliant player.
Yeah, he was very good. Zinchenko, I think it comes to a point where I didn't know that he prefers playing in midfield, but when I've seen some of his performances at left back for City, defensively, he's not that great. He has made a few mistakes and he does get caught out a little bit. And Raum, I didn't know much about him till you spoke about him the other week, and I've watched a bit of him. He does look, of those 3, the best of the bunch. So
he's going to be the German left back, national team left back for years to come. He's going to be.
And I think to be honest with you, we need Cresswell needs help. We need help in left back position. So for me, I'd go for Raum.
Yeah, Gary, you agree with that?
I'll go with that. Yeah, I love the look of Raum.
Okay.
Not saying I wouldn't have Hickey, because I would have Hickey, but out of those at the moment, I would choose Raum. Being a German international as well, that sort of.
Yeah. We love a German, don't we? We love a German.
Right, so we're relegating Cresswell. Sorry.
When I hear Aaron Hickey's name, I just think it reminds me of a Scottish love bite or something to do with Scotland. I don't know, like really, or a drunk Scotsman or something. I don't know.
Right, so we're back down to 115 million. I think that's a great bit of work. Right, now this is a hard bit now, because if we sign James Ward-Prowse, that's going to put a massive dent in our budget.
Yeah.
Should we leave central midfield to last?
Yeah. So should we sign? Are we signing Lingard?
I'd sign Lingard on a free.
Yeah.
We signing Lingard. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Right, there he goes.
Perfect.
Joe Lings, he's been signed.
Easy. This is easy. I don't know what takes so long for these. I don't know.
Right. Who else we got? So somebody put in the I think it was Garino or Sean about Belotti as a striker, that he's got he has issues with injuries. He does, but he had 2 bouts of injury last year, only short periods. But and that's kind of either end of the season. But he still had a good season. He's a goal scorer. He's a brilliant player coming into his prime on a free transfer. For me, I would sign him. Not at the expense of signing someone else, but I would get him as well. I think we need 2 strikers, because I'm going to move Antonio to the wing.
I
think we need 2 strikers without a doubt.
If you're going to, at the end of the day, if there's players. If there's players like that to be had on a free transfer, you've got to go for them, haven't
you? Yeah.
Right, so we're taking Belotti,
well, let's have Belotti.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right, let's get rid of these. Right, Vlasic, you're gone. Masuaku, bye. Diop, tell her, mate. Right. Easy as that.
Yeah.
Right, so there we go. Right, so we've still got 115 million. How many spaces do we need to fill?
Hang on a minute, but you see what's that? How many centre backs have we got there? Just 4.
We've got 4.
Yeah.
We've got 4 centre backs. Yeah,
I suppose you got.
That's enough. I think that's enough.
Yeah,
but you say it's enough. But Ogbona's 34, just come back from a big injury. Dawson's getting older, so it's not a massive amount of centre backs if you're going to play so many games. But okay, I'll go with it.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There is an argument to keep Diop, and I would prefer that we kept him.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
How long is Diop going to be happy just sitting on the bench and playing backup? He's a young man.
I'll tell you what,
no,
let's see if we've got 20 million of change at the end, and if we have, we're bringing back.
We're buying back again. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, who else are we going for then?
Well,
so in central midfield, well, for a start, you could either have.
Sorry, mate. Stell's got a good point here. You don't have 115 million because you haven't
listen to him. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. It's all wraps up.
Yeah. Simple maths, Stell. Simple maths.
Ruining the game. Right. So, central midfield, we can either go for 30 million Cockchew, James Ward-Prowse. Well, I think that's about it. That's all I've got in here, isn't it?
Well, look.
No, Zinchenko. Zinchenko is a central defensive midfielder with pace.
Is he really?
And he can cover at left back. Yeah. That's his best position.
Oh, blimey. Well, I'll tell you what. If we were selling Soucek, I'd get James Ward-Prowse.
You would. If we were selling Soucek.
Yes.
We're not.
So we're not going to sell Soucek, honestly. You're going to break my heart. We're not going to sell Soucek on this.
Well, are you telling me? I can't believe we would sign James Ward-Prowse, have him playing alongside Declan Rice, and have Soucek sitting on the bench.
No.
But Gal, but Gal, the thing is that if we want to move forward, we have to do this, and we have to see if the player will accept it. If after a season a player's not happy, only playing 15 games, 20 games, then they feel free to move on. But we need to try and build a squad a bit more. I know what you're saying.
Stell's having a dig. Garino says, sounds like the Icelandics are back in charge. No, we're worse than them. We're worse than them, honestly.
Right, so do you want to leave? Oh no, we've got to sort central midfield out. We've got to do it. So look, are we keeping Soucek?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would you do? Would you add Zinchenko or Cockchew to central midfield out of what we've got on the screen?
I was so impressed with your review of Cockchew the other day. I'm going to go Cockchew. How about you, John?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I liked you holding phallic symbols. It brought back memories of that caravan trip in '88.
You know, Stell the other day from Cultured Mayfair. He actually he piped up and said, "Actually, it's Soucek."
It's Soucek. Yeah, but then he said, "I don't know really." Okay. Right. Okay. So we're keeping Soucek. Oh,
yeah.
God. All right. Okay. Brilliant.
Can't just say that, Nick.
Right. Right. Left winger. So we've got Danjuma.
Hang on. Someone said, "Where's Broja?" Good point.
Yes. Where's Broja?
You ain't got Broja there, Nick.
Oh, shit.
It's a choice between En-Nesyri and Broja, really, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what. Dennis can be the prop. So, but he's 30 million, so we can sign him. So Dennis can be Dennis, or he can be Broja.
Dennis,
right, okay, go on then. Yeah, Dennis Broja. Right. Dennis Broja. Right. So, are we going to? So, if we go for a left winger, I'll take Sarr.
Basically that's Sarr, Danjuma. Or Lewis Potter.
I'd take Lewis Potter. I want Lewis Potter.
Right, John. What about you? Out of those players,
well, for me, if it was feasible, the free transfers, Ericsson and Lingard, you'd have them all day long. But you couldn't accommodate both of them, could you? Let's be honest. Probably,
no.
I don't.
No.
So if the Lingard things to be said is true, then yeah, okay, Lingard. Would I take Lewis Potter or JWP? Is that what you're saying?
I think Danjuma is the best player out of all of them.
Yeah, but I want to go for a play. Listen, I'd rather. I know it ain't popular because he's just James Ward-Prowse, but the experience the man holds, he's Premier League ready, and he'll slot straight in, and he'll be in the team, and he'll be playing well. But it's a lot of money, so it's not going to be. So for me, I like Lewis Potter as well. That's the problem. But
so who are you thinking?
Well, I'll go Lewis Potter because I'll let Gary. I'll let Gary choose that one. I do like Lewis Potter. I do, but
yeah. I don't know loads about him, if I'm honest.
No, but he's not Premier League ready yet, is he? He may well be, but I just think that it's 3 times the money trying to get hold of James Ward-Prowse. Then you lose 60 million straight away, didn't you?
Yeah. But basically, that's our wing options. That gives us Bowen, Benrahma, and Lewis Potter. I think we've got space for another one.
Well, good options there, I think. Who else? Are there any wingers on a free?
Yeah, Januzaj.
How much we spent so far?
No, don't want Januzaj. We bought 17 players and we only spent 30.
You say you don't want Januzaj, right? But he did really well. His best period, he played 50 odd games for Man U. Most of them were under David Moyes. He did really well for Moyes, and he's played since he's moved to what club is he at now?
Hey,
what club is he at? Real Sociedad, and he's been ever present pretty much for the last 3 seasons. I think he's just faded off a little bit now, but apparently there'll be a fair bit of interest in Januzaj. Januzaj, whatever his name is. So,
Epic
he's back. Epic's back.
Can I just say, I don't want to sell Benrahma. I said we should keep Benrahma. I don't know where you've got that from. I never said.
I'm going to sell him now just because Epic's on.
Yeah.
Right. So the only other one we've got is Januzaj. I really don't like him. That does nothing for me. That signing. So look, let's talk about the striker then. So are we going to go for En-Nesyri or are we going to go for Broja?
Well, listen, I would go for Broja. Yes.
Yeah, the one player I ain't got on the fucking screen.
Yeah,
right,
Dennis Broja. We're going for Dennis Broja.
Okay. No worries, bastards.
I'll tell you what. There's a march. There's a march in our name. GNJ out. Gary, Nick, and John out. Dave Hurst, friend of the show.
You're not fit to run a club.
Right, so 30. So what's it? Hang on a minute. No, we had 65 million. Yeah, so 35. We've got 35 million left.
Who did you buy?
Well, we spent 20. We spent 35 million on him.
Oh yeah.
So 65, 85, and this is 30 million.
Oh, 30 million Broja. How much we got left?
That's not right, is it? I've done my maths wrong. 65. 85.
65, 85, 115, 35 left. No, you're right.
115, 35 left.
Yeah,
so
35 left, yeah.
So we're going to buy.
We'll just have a big-
we're going to buy Diop back. Then
What's that?
we're going to buy Diop back for 20 million.
I don't know how to get him back. Hang on 1 minute. Hang on, I will get him back. Don't you worry. So is that all we need then in terms of?
I think what's happening
Have a,
is
look at have a look at the squad there a minute.
Yeah.
I'd like another winger. How much is Sarr?
20 million.
Yeah, let's go a 5 million overdrawn. Let's buy Sarr as well.
5 million overdrawn. Is that even allowed? This game is crazy.
Well, no, it's not. We've got 35 million.
No, because I really like.
Sorry, Gary said 5 million overdrawn.
Yeah, we've got 35 million, but we're selling Diop back for 20 million, leaves us with 15.
Okay,
So if we buy Sarr,
sorry.
see what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I see what you're saying, bruv.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this game was a good idea, Nick. A lot of these people watching are just abusing us, you. They're leaving the chat. They're moving on. If anyone unsubscribes,
sack the ball.
Well, I'll tell you what we do. Look. Let's start building the team first. All right. So who's going in goal? You got Areola. You got Ram. You've got who's going to go right back?
Johnson,
Soufal or Johnson? I think Johnson.
Yeah, go on. I'll go Johnson.
Zuma and Aguirre, and you're going to have Bowen, obviously. Lewis Potter. Or do you think he'll play? No, he won't. He'll play Lewis Potter. And you're going to have Rice and Cockchew, new signing. And probably if you've got Belotti, you're going to start with Belotti because I don't think Broja comes straight in, does he?
No, not if you've got him. See this?
Right.
Selection problems.
Already, we're struggling with this big squad, aren't we? Imagine what Moyes is going to be doing.
Yeah.
There we go. So Aguirre's left-sided, isn't he?
Yeah.
There we go. He's left-sided. That's good.
It's right-sided.
I'm sure Gary just got 10 million for passing go. These guys are funny, aren't they? Aren't they funny, this lot?
Lewis Potter. There's Cockchew.
What a team. We have. I tell you, this is fucking easy. I should have took over West Ham years ago, lads.
There you go. Look. There you go.
One player short.
You're missing a player, Nick. Where's Lingard, mate?
Lingard. Where's Lingard? Lingard. I thought I brought him over.
Jesse, paint a picture about how it's gonna be.
There we go. There's the team. That's it. I think it'll be more in this system. In this system here, what you will see is Rice will hold. Rice will hold in that team because Cockchew offers more going forward.
And what you got what you got with all these signings is Lewis Potter gets a bit tired. You take him off, put Sarr on, right? Cockchew gets a bit tired. You bring Soucek on.
Hang on. So you got we got here. So Dawson.
Round gets a bit tired. You bring on Cresswell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look. So if we bring them all over here.
No. I think John Ram gets a bit tired. You leave Ram on.
Oh, so come on. Everyone's hating on Cresswell now. He's become a scapegoat, isn't he? My God. You lot are horrible.
There we go. So look, these are that's the options that we would have from the bench.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's not bad, is it? Bearing in mind, Dennis is Broja, by the way, people. Dennis is Broja. He's a prop because I didn't have a graphic for Broja for some reason.
They look nothing like each other, though. Don't you?
No, I know. I couldn't have picked a worse player, really, could I? But yeah. So there's good options there as well. Like I say, you know, I mean, Antonio on that left hand side. Talking about Dennis, it was somebody I watched a bit. I watched a show on him the other day. He can play right or left as well. He doesn't have to be a centre forward. So he's and I know he's someone that we're looking at. Yeah. Dennis and Sarr. So God knows who we're going to sign. I ain't got a clue.
The thing is if you rewind a week, 10 days ago, West Ham fans were panicking. We was 1-2 days into the window and we hadn't bought anyone. We've only bought one, and we've signed the keeper that we sort of thought we was going to get, which was a done deal, but dragged on more than it should. If we get Lingard, and now we've got Aguirre and Areola, you start to become a little bit more optimistic as a West Ham. All of a sudden, you're thinking, maybe we will get these players that we linked with. Maybe we will get Belotti. Maybe we can. And hopefully it is a little bit of a turning point. I know we're playing a bit of a fictitious game here, and Nick's loving the fantasy football mode of it all and all that. But I just think it will only breed optimism if we get another one over the line pretty soon, you know?
There is something that you haven't noticed on this graphic here. And do you know what makes me laugh? You haven't even noticed. I haven't even put Soucek on the bench. I've done it as a test.
You do.
And do you know, nobody noticed. Not even in the chat. Not even in the chat. Not one person realised that I hadn't put Soucek.
Nick, sometimes great players doing all the donkey work go unnoticed, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Here he is, look.
There he is.
There he is. But no. But look, that's that. Let's get that off. That's not a bad team, is it?
No, I think it's brilliant. Well, let's just hope we're going to need options, right? We're going to need a strong bench with 5 substitutions, because next season you're going to see the likes of Liverpool do what they did against Forest last year and actually replace their whole attack all right, you can't swap 5 at once, but that's basically what they did. They swapped out their whole forward line, and that's the only reason they beat Forest. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I think. Do you think that we're going to see David Moyes make 5 substitutions in a game next year?
Not once.
Do you think we will?
Although we're judging him based on not having much to bring off the bench, aren't we? If he's got options off the bench,
he won't make 5 subs, John.
So what's the point of buying all these players that we've just put in the team?
I think if he's winning 1-0, between the 91st and the 95th minute, he might make 5
incremental subs. Yeah.
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah. I like that though. There's hope. If we make good signings, you know, let's hope this turns out to be the transfer window we need it to be.
Yeah. I mean, but what this does demonstrate as well, what it does demonstrate is that this James Ward-Prowse signing, unless there's some more money there or there's some more money coming in, that takes a massive part of the pot. So if James Ward-Prowse is a serious, if we are after him, somebody is going.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we need a lot of players. No, they must be. No, John, if we're spending 60 million of our pot, we've already spent now, we've spent 35 million. If we spend him, if we buy him, that's 95 million. We've got 50 million left to go and fill all these other gaps.
He's a big part of the pot. I get that.
Yeah. So what that means is that probably somebody else is going, is what I mean. If we're buying him,
but all the also runs, wouldn't it? It'd be like Vlasic and Masuaku, and that. It won't be. Yeah. I don't think it'd be Rice or anything like that. A big name, will it? No way.
Yeah, you didn't have Lanzini on the bench either. That's another option.
I'm going to put him back. Look, I'm going to put him back. I'll show you.
We've had one bit of support. Yeah, we've had one bit of support from Glenn.
Oh, cheers, Glenn. Thank you. You see, Glenn knows what we're trying to do here. We're trying to be creative.
Glenn can come back. You ain't got Fab on the bench, he said.
Oh, Nick, come on.
We didn't notice Soucek because we're still worried about the finances. Now, hang on a minute. Now we've bought all the good players. Dave wants to be our friend again. That'd be some squad. Yeah, you're not coming to the new stadium. Oh shit.
Yeah. You see, we were the worst owners in the world. Now we're the best owners in the world.
We're the best owners. Everyone loves us now. See?
Yeah.
ENJ.
Easy.
Yeah. Tell you what, that team.
Give us the budget. We'll do it.
I think that's a top 6 team.
Yeah, well, we're borderline top 6 now already, aren't we? So
no, but we'll be top 6.
Say that again, Nick. Borderline.
We're borderline top 6 now.
What you mean 7th?
No. Do you know what I would like though? But do you know what I would like? I would like us to be a top 6 team whereby we don't have to sit.
Oh,
Nick's gone. Thank God for that.
Oh, he's frozen. Oh, look, the silence, John. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
But I don't want us to overachieve. I want us to actually have a top 6 team. That's what I want.
Yeah. No,
and I think that's what that is. That's what that is.
Overachieving is brilliant.
Well, we can overachieve and get 4th.
Yeah, let's do that. Overachieving is brilliant. It's just some of the fan base needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, Gary.
Right, that's it. We are done. So, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please join us in the week for the almost daily shows, as in they're not every day, but they're we call them dailies. Please leave a comment. Thanks for all your input into the show tonight. There's been some quality comments in there, I must admit. It's been a really good night for the comments, and It's been really good having John picking out the good comments as well, because me and Nick usually go straight past.
We're terrible.
Yeah, but I know good comedy when I see it. Used to, don't. So.
That's right. That's right. So look, if you enjoyed this show, please subscribe to the channel, YouTube channel, Claret and Booze. We'll be keeping up transfer content all throughout the summer. But anyway, for tonight, we're done. So until next time, see you soon, and come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.
How are your hands?